welcome to another home edition of Get It Girl. On today's show, I'm joined by an actress, runner, and body positivity icon, Daniela Rincón. Hello, Daniela.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
I feel like we're gonna have so much in common, girl, because you're talking to Miss Curvy Girls Fitness too. That's what I started with my brand. So I'm so excited to hear about your journey and kind of what brought you to all the different things that you do now. Do you want to start with maybe your fitness journey and your healthy eating?
Sure. My fitness journey started a little bit awkward. It had an awkward start because I really didn't want to do exercise. Like I've heard all of my life, you have to do it because it's good for you, and you should because you should lose weight. And the more that message was given to me, the less I wanted to do it. So I started teaching theater in a high school, and this high school had like a gym. And the coach that was in charge of that gym, probably if you would look at him, he would be you would never imagine that he would be the origin of my body positive journey. He's like a bodybuilder. He's very, he has a very stern face, and and when he saw me, he just asked me what were my goals there. And I was very like, no, I'll lose some weight, just whatever. I was like, when he asked me specifically, like how much weight and in how long, I was like 6 months, 100 pounds, 120 pounds. And he came out, he was like, yeah, that's not realistic. That's not a caring, that's not a lovable goal to your body. And I'm not going to be part of that. I can help you though, to figure out how amazing your body is. And I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from someone from a heavy fitness guy. And he did tell me it's probably going to be years until you start losing weight. It's going to be years until you actually see very visible results, but you will be stronger. You will be healthier. You can be healthy at this size. You can do anything you want at this size. Your body is not the issue. The issue is you're not putting it to use. So that changed my whole perspective on everything. Because I was like, wait, so you're telling me that my main goal doesn't have to be to lose weight, doesn't have to be to punish myself and to just, take this all off because it's awful and I should hate it. No, you should love it because it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I was with him maybe 3 years, then I had to move. But what he gave me, I continued to use all these years because it was just such an amazing message.
And another really important thing that you said is the way that you started your fitness journey was saying that you have to lose weight. You have to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that once you change, you change their interpretation of you don't have to, but you're blessed to because you have legs to walk. You have an upper body to do push-ups. You have abs to do sit-ups. When you change just the wording, you change the energy of the entire fitness journey, which is what I started with Curvy Girls Fitness. I had to start to learn to love my body curvy, because I was never going to be a size 0. I was never going to, my body was never going to look like the people in commercials back then. And that really, really changed drastically my fitness journey, which eventually changed the way that I trained all of my personal training clients. And I think you said it, finding a coach that really understands that and is able to communicate it to you in a loving and soft way inspires you.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. It's also when you discover that, or at least it was for me, the moment he started telling me that it started here, I was like, well, maybe there are also other things that I need to work here. And eventually it kind of becomes a cycle, a good cycle, instead of the wrong kind of cycle that I was for a while in, because I have like I used to be a binge eater. Well, I don't think you really stop being a binge eater. It's always in there. You just kind of learn. And I went to therapy for a while, you know, to get the tools to deal with it, because it was like coming from anxiety. And like, it's once you start doing things from love instead of from hate and rejection, you go like, okay, well, I need to fix this. I need to work on this because I love this body that I'm in. Because what I keep telling and on Instagram, and I try to be very consistent on this, because I think that my message and the way I started making videos, it kind of like has changed with the more information you get, and the more, that's why I'm always like, never, ever, ever take what I say as a rule, because in 6 months, I may have like done some research and changed how I view things. So I'm very like, you will never try to help a body that you hate.
Now, changing the topic a little bit, all of this also, did it inspire you to go into acting? Because I know that you worked in a movie produced by Gael Garcia, which is exciting, and Diego Luna, Paraíso. What
Yes.
started the acting career, and when was that?
Well, the acting, I started doing like little stuff when I was in high school. In Mexico, you study theater. I think it's the same over here. Like the last 3 years of high school, you go into like a workshop stuff, and it's theater. It was theater for me. And I fell in love with it. I had a great teacher in high school. So that's what I studied. I studied theater in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole, like, it was a great experience to study it. As I was in school, I had great teachers. I had teachers that were not entirely body positive themselves. Ironically, it was the female teachers that were the hardest on me, because they kept trying to be like, you have to be aware of the roles you're gonna get. Like, what does that mean? Fat people have stories to tell too. Like, we fall in love, we have things to say. So why will I have to be aware of the roles I'll get? When I left school, I absolutely understand what they meant, because yes, that's absolutely how it was back then. I do feel like it's changing. It's trying to be more inclusive. Still, Paraíso was absolutely one of those golden eggs of opportunities. It was, first of all, the script was just beautiful. And I went through like this whole like casting process that was very cool and very new, because I had just left school when I did Paraíso, maybe like a year or a year and a half when I started the casting process. And I have nothing but amazing, like Mariana Chenillo, who is the writer and the director, the producers, you know, Pablo Cruz, Diego, Guy, everyone was absolutely amazing. And Andres Almeida, who was like my co-star in the movie, I have never met someone more patient than Andres, because I had never done a movie before. So everyone was like, okay, you have to stand here and go. It's like, this is not theater. That theater is what I'm used to do. So, but what am I supposed to do now? Like, it's just go and go. And you have to have the emotion and be into it. And then it's not, when you watch a movie, you're like, oh, I guess they just, you know, they film it in the order. We don't do that. It's just all over the place. And Andres was always kind and patient. He was so caring. He's amazing. So Paraíso for me was just a gift. It was absolutely beautiful. And after that, I had to take a break because Mexico City was killing me. Living in Mexico City is very challenging when your lungs are not the best lungs there are. So I moved out of Mexico City, after which I arrived here. I live right across from Manhattan, Jersey City. So I started auditioning over here, and I did a film with a director from Brooklyn. And then I wrote a short film, which we filmed the week before we were placed in quarantine.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was because maybe we should postpone it for 2 weeks. And if we had, we wouldn't have filmed it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in the stars that we did it.
Amazing. That's amazing. I love your journey. I'm actually starting to do more acting now within the last couple of years. And it's something that I started also in college as a extracurricular class, I guess. But I love it. I love telling just our stories. I feel like it's important that people like us are doing it because we're passionate about it. And because, like you said, curvy girls need to tell their stories too.
I was thinking, because I actually just from the short kind of came this idea. As we were doing it, I kept thinking I need to do a feature film script for this. I wrote the story, so I just actually finished the script for the movie. And my husband, well, sometimes my husband and I, we have like sort of like philosophical like conversations, and especially because we're quarantining.
Yeah,
here.
There's a lot to talk about, right?
But he was like, is there something you want to say? And I have this thing, even now, as more curvy girls or plus size women actresses are, they're on film and you see them, I feel like it's always, the story turns around that. Why? It's not like that in real life. I mean, I don't know you, but when I met my husband, I didn't have to be like, hello, just so you know, I am a size 22. These are my legs, this is my cellulite. That doesn't happen. So I don't understand why we watch these stories and it's a whole conversation and everything turns around that. I'm like, it can be like that. I'm not saying that.
Depending on the story, like if it's an actress, like I could talk about just me being a YouTuber. 8 years ago, I was auditioning for television, fitness commercials, and I got no about 100 times. And so, and being told by agents, you need to lose weight, you need to have this color hair. And so it depends on the storyline. I think for sure every story doesn't have to be because
That's it.
You didn't get the commercials that you wanted.
Exactly. So I was like, why are we not watching more stories about like just people who fall in love and just tell their story without this having to be like the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
Because it's not always like that. It can be, and maybe it is for some people, but why can't we just watch a story where people look like they look and they're telling a story, not talking about this all the time? And I wanted to see how that like looked. So I just started writing, and it feels like something that has to happen, because why would we just keep talking about this as if it's the only thing that person or actress has to say?
Yeah.
It's not. She has
and it's
whatever other things to say.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because literally all of my first television interviews had to do with me being a curvy girl. Yeah, that's all television wanted me to talk about. Now, in my current space now, I am just talking about healthy food. If I work with a brand, it's just me being healthy. And it's amazing how much I've evolved in the industry, because like I said before, they wanted me to talk about only my curves and, how I accepted my cellulite and how I accepted my bigger hips. And literally every television interview, the questions that I would get, it was like, tell us your life about living a curvy girl life. And now though, I feel like things are starting to change. Now they're starting to see me just as a woman with, body image struggles that I've overcome, relationship struggles, just as a woman. But I totally agree that we need to start looking at curvy women more than just for their curves.
Exactly. Like the stories and like I cannot even get into when Adele published her last few Instagram posts. I was like, seriously? I mean, really? Like
Like, we need to talk about her voice. That's it.
can't think of a woman that's like more talented and more like, she's a phenomenal artist. Are we really talking about her weight loss? Seriously?
I know. Now I want to go into a different area of your life. I want to have a little quarantine trivia. So it's just a little game. I'm going to ask you 3 questions about quarantine and give you 3 options. And you're going to tell me which one applies to you best. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Honest answers here, you know, no judgment.
Absolutely.
All right. So how many family fights have you had during these quarantine? The usual amount, definitely more than the usual, or less than the usual?
Being absolutely honest, less than the usual. We had like one maybe that was like not the best, and then we decided for the healthy of our marriage, one could call like a stop card, and everything would stop. We were like, no cheating. Like if someone says this stops now, it stopped, and we've used it maybe like 5 times.
That's amazing. It's a good relationship tip, ladies that are listening and gentlemen.
Because we were like, if not, this is gonna get out of hand really
exactly. Quick. And because we're in quarantine, sometimes you don't have anywhere to go. So it's just like, let it go. And I think it's important because that helps our emotional intelligence to just take a breath. And then if things still need to be discussed, you talk about it later. You know, you don't want to throw things under the rug either, because then you'll trip up on them later. But I think that's a really great tool to have. I'm definitely that one too. Now, what have the fights been for though? A, the remote control, who takes the trash out, or who disinfects the groceries?
Oh, well, if it's probably because who disinfects the groceries? Because after I have to do it, I get a little grumpy and I look for a fight, and he has to be the one who's like, no, stop cart. And I have to be like, okay, fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, have to be definitely the groceries. Absolutely.
Okay, that's honest. That's an honest answer. And what's been your guilty pleasure though? Watching bad TV, getting Zoom addicted, being in your pajamas for a week in a row?
Okay, can I mention like authors and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So there's this romance novel author. Her name is Julia Quinn. Let me tell, I think she has like 35 books. I'm pretty sure I have like 30 already in audiobook. I have listened to them all nonstop. Like that's what I hear when I'm doing, like when I'm making dinner, as I'm walking the dog, as I'm rowing, because I have like a rower. I just live for her romance heroes who are very handsome and virile. Just, yes, that's my guilt. It's a guilty pleasure that I'm very proud of, by the way.
That's good, girl. Own it. I'm like, own that. Yeah. And the last question, during quarantine, and this is personal, right? How often have you been showering? As much as usual, about half of the times, or about double since I'm bored?
Honestly, about the usual, because I work out every day. I'm like a little gym rat, and I sweat so much that I cannot be without taking a shower. Plus, like, we have this rule, like no sitting on anything until you shower. So I'm just laying on the floor, like I have to shower every day. So that hasn't changed.
Oh my gosh. How often do you wash your hair though? Because I work out every day too, and sometimes I just can't. I'll stay with the oily hair at least 2 or 3 days, because then it just dries the hair out.
I can't be without washing my hair. I do wash it every day. But the good thing is that I have like a really cool hair routine now because of the pink, and I've been keeping it pink, and I haven't left. I haven't been to the salon. My husband cut my hair. I have this like conditioner thing that helps. It's more of like a conditioner. It's kind of like using it's not super abrasive with the hair. So it feels great. The thing is styling it, that just takes a little while. I don't do that. I don't do that every day.
Dang, girl, I respect that. I cannot. I'm the lazy, like, I have to do it at least. If I work out Monday and I shower Monday, I won't shower my hair again until Wednesday. But I wash my body, though. Like,
Well,
gotta wash out that stank.
Yeah, that's important. I really, if you watch my Instagram, I end up like absolutely drenched. I couldn't. And I'm very like, I don't like that. No. I mean, I have like my best friend. She's always like, yeah, I haven't washed it since Monday. And I'm like, Monday after our workout? Yes. I'm like, look, I wouldn't have known. So you do you. I can't. I'm very picky with it.
Right. And no shame for the people that are watching that, maybe should wear a little less during quarantine. It's okay.
You absolutely, like, you do. I mean, if you think anyone would ever trust me, it's not just this quarantine. I've discovered that I can no longer use the same moisturizer for my body and on my face, which I have been doing up until now. I literally, my mom is like, how dare you? You should have started using special face moisturizer when you were 25. How dare you ruin your face? I'm like, listen, I just discovered it. I had been using the same moisturizer. So trust me, there's no beauty judgment here.
Yeah,
none.
No beauty judgment. No. Well, thank you so much, Daniela, for being with us today. Hopefully we'll get to meet you in the studio sometime soon.
Oh, yeah.
But in the meanwhile, don't forget to follow Daniela at Daniela Rincón. And follow us on Get It Girl TV and LATV networks. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.